kid with that kid nut.
Welcome, everybody, to the Synapse Philosophy Group. This is Dr. Haig John, your host, and I'm here with everybody from Alan Lichter, Robert and Carol Crystal, Barry Hobbs, and whoever else joins in. We're happy to have you. And I'm going to make, how about Alan? Alan Lichter, I'm going to make you the co-host in case we've had some internet problems here. Is that all right?
Sure.
You have them too sometimes. I know. We'll see how it all goes. But you know what? It's still the love of chiropractic that brings us. All right. Okay. We're going to do just a little skipping. We're on page 585. D.D. Palmer's 1910 book, The Chiropractor's Adjuster. Bottom paragraph. Then we're going to page 611. And the title of this chapter is called Chiropractic, and that's where we're going. All right. Those who contemplate entering a profession will find chiropractic a golden gateway to success. No work is more noble than that of alleviating humanity from suffering. There is no system of healing that begets so much interest as the study of chiropractic. The effect is traced to where the nerves are impinged upon, and in acute cases, the impingement relieved by one or two adjustments. Fever cases are returned to normal temperature in a few minutes. Now, I want to say sometimes that happens quickly, sometimes it doesn't happen at all. Let's be real, because chiropractors don't heal, the body heals itself. We remove the interference so the body can do its best job that it possibly can. Okay. Oops.
Sometimes symptoms get magnified.
Sometimes they get magnified because it's part of the healing, right? Now, that was one section where Dee is talking about the success of chiropractic. And there is no more noble thing to do than to help ease human suffering. And D.D. Palmer talked about helping ease the fetters of humanity, and chiropractic being an amazing, process to help people function better. And look, I had a dachshund. He was paralyzed twice, and there's no placebo effect with the dog. And he was walking. First time it took 7 days. The next time it took 6, right? From completely paralyzed, no bowel or bladder function. So I didn't heal him. What I did was adjust the interference. I didn't remove it. I adjusted so the body can function at its best. To me, this is a healing art. It is one of those things we really are looking at health, because to function better is also to heal better. And people have miraculous results. Where did Jesus get his credibility? Was healing the sick, right? And that's where we look at, not that, no, listen, I'm the farthest from Jesus. I can't heal anybody, nor can anyone else. But he also said, all the things that I can do, you can do better, right? It's already in you. It's already in each and every one of us. So very powerful statement there. Really is empowering, not to depower people. You have the power within. And I think that is where we offer hope. That's my 11.5 cents. Anybody else? You have any insights?
Well, if they were pennies, they're worth 40 cents.
If there were pennies, they'd be triple. And maybe the price will go up if we stop printing them, and now they'll be valuable in some way, We won't use them as weights to, sink people in the East River. I don't know. It's probably cheaper than concrete. Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness.
In all honesty, this is the most noblest profession. When these sick people come in who've tried everything, done everything, and you simply, I'm going to say it this way, you simply analyze and locate that vertebral subluxation and put in that specific adjusted thrust and literally let Mother Nature express herself and give it time some miracles occur. However, in a way, it's really not a miracle, it's natural functioning, right?
Yeah.
Because she is perfect. And we are created in the image of, God, God. And it is the most noblest profession because we're able to put our hands on people and really restore their health, which has no price on it, no value whatsoever. And I love that quote. Love that quote.
Absolutely. That's the one that's going to go into our comment section on this when I post this on YouTube. And people have moved vertebra in the past millennia. Animals rub their backs against trees. It's to scratch maybe a bear, but he's also, you hear horses, you hear vertebra when they shake their head when they move. Ultimately, no one got the message before Dee Dee, though. Using the levers, the spinuses and transversus levers, but also the philosophy of chiropractic, which I think is extremely important. And Pasquale used to say this, he was just learning how to articulate these things then. And even Stevenson says, look at this as the eyes of a child seeing a photograph for the first time and looking to the back for the rest of the people. Take this and grow with it. And what I've really begun to realize is that the subluxation is the communication of innate. You've learned how to read that braille of that body. You know how ASRP, I know how to move that the best that I could to offer the influence. So innate has the freedom to say, okay, now this is where we need to be in the moment. And we're freeing it under the expression of the light, because we're never less light. I really feel that we're under the expression of the light, subluxation. And when we know how to listen to the language of the light, we get this information to adjust them. And there can be nothing more profound in the universe than listening and being able to communicate with someone else's innate. Right? In a conscious level, this is conscious communication. And, when we talk about with innate newborn, what it is, and Bob, you learned this, are vectors. We can hold that and we change that vector just slightly. And the system relaxes, including adults. How does this know? Same point of contact. How does it know we're in a different vector, for goodness sake? Oh my gosh.
Your pressure direction changed.
Huh?
The pressure you applied changed when you changed.
That's what your intellectual says, right?
The force changed from this direction to this direction. It's a change in the direction of force.
We've tested it without moving a single thing. We've even tested it with an instrument and just changing slightly in the vector.
Yeah.
You can intellectualize that all day long.
Changed, the direction of the force changed.
Yes, exactly right. So that's where we have to understand those stretch receptors and the mechanoreceptors. Understand they are extremely intelligent. A message directly to the brain from a neuron from that stretch receptor, wham, right? It knows when we're subluxated. Go ahead, Barry.
Oh, I was going to say that's innate adapting. Innate adapting to your force, your outside in specific force, and it's adapting that to her need.
And the thing that so many chiropractors fight with each other about my technique, your technique, and the interesting thing is that there's just different ways of asking the question of the person that you're working with, the person that you're addressing in front of you to help them to different. There's a multitude of ways to ask that body what it wants. And whether you're doing a leg check or whether you're analyzing x-rays or whether you're talking to the feet or whether you're doing pressure testing, they all work. It's what works for you and that person in front of you. And for us to fight about mine's better than yours, I mean, I used a basket full of different techniques and used them, at different times and combined them all, over the course of my career.
And my innate is going to trust you in a different way in adjusting me than it might do for Barry or Rob. And it's going to say, hey, you're the right person for this job for this one. and you're the right person for the job for that one. That's why we have so many different techniques. Well, we found the subluxation here in this way, and it's moved like that. Next person comes in the room and it's in a completely different thing, because innate is, it's the all intelligent, right? It's the
it's a funny story. I was at a seminar at and there was a guy that was an upper cervical practitioner, and he got checked at, it was a CLA booth, right, with a scanner back in the day. And he said, "Can you adjust me?" I said, "Sure." But, and I did a DNFT leg check on him. And I found his analysis, and I determined what I wanted to adjust, and I adjusted him. And he said, "How did you know that I was an ASRA?" I said, "Because I asked you, but I asked your feet. I didn't ask you verbally." He says, "That's unbelievable. How that you knew exactly? That's what my listening is on X-ray." I went, that's what we do, and different techniques are used to find that. And I mean, Gary may use one, and you may use one, and Bob, and you may use a different one, but they all find it for the person the people we're working with. And that's the amazing thing. And he was stunned because his upper cervical, he always wanted x-rays to determine what to adjust. And I was like, yeah, that's.
When Heg was hitting on this earlier, we all know the technicalities of the analysis. However, there's that energy, that spiritual part. When you're in tune and you're in the zone, it's almost like driving somewhere, and all of a sudden you hit your exit, and you're like, "Oh my God, I just drove 30 minutes and I don't remember." However, you were in the zone, and Nate uses us to express herself, and not only that, for us helping other people. And when you're in that zone and you're in tune, and you are a seasoned veteran like Dr. Lichter was, and he was in tune and doing his thing, boom, that was showing up. All these answers just show up. It's synchronicity. You're in tune with the universe. This stuff will happen because it's in alignment.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yesterday, my daughter had a spectacular day in the office. She had an experience that I think all of us have had at times, and we want it to be more often that it happens. It was like bones were almost moving off of her hands before she moved, like things were just happening before the contacts were practically made, And so it's just a really great day for everybody there, and for I was really proud to see her come that far with chiropractic as a chiropractor, and I just wanted to share that because it was a nice day yesterday.
That's a great thing.
That's spectacular. That is spectacular.
The next generation is alive and well.
Oh yeah, 100%, absolutely, positively.
In your house.
She is a product of those two great chiropractors right there.
That's right.
Bob and Carol, put an infrared camera on her the next time she approaches these souls, and let's see the fireworks that occur.
That would be amazing. I think we all need to do that. I mean, I think that would be really fun. And just putting an infrared camera in the corner and a video running the whole time.
All right, we'll have to do it.
Wow, that would be really cool. Oh man, I got to find infrared somewhere.
Another job for you.
Do you know anybody that does full thermography on people? Like not a Titron, but an image of the whole back.
Yeah, Dr. Hink up here in Sterling Heights is really big in it. I know there's a couple other people too, but that's part of his workup. He'll do thermal scans, thermography, infrared camera on people.
What tool does he use? Is it they come to my house after a hurricane, they scan with an infrared thing to see if there's any moisture in the house. I mean, what else would one use? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a medical grade infrared camera.
Medical grade.
Yeah, it's a quote medical grade infrared camera. It's not, an app off of an iPhone or another little thing. He purchased it from a legit company. So yep, I've seen them.
as actual cameras. I mean, they're like $4,000, you know, for what they use for like home inspection. I mean, they're very, very expensive, but I don't know anything about the medical grade, because that's something I've really thought about for years. And I know some people were doing it. I want to learn more about that analysis, because I'm sure it's dramatic after an adjustment.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it actually does look like a camera. And then Kevin Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Jackson is using an infrared. He's got his on an iPad. I don't know what the adapter is, but he's doing infrared before and after adjustment as well. So get in touch with Kevin Jackson and then Josh Inc.
I'll send him a message, because I'm really curious about that. You know what? It's just like, you know, fun toys to play with. Just fun toys to play with. Why not? Right? We're all allowed to play. It's all play. You know, that's what Arno taught us too. It's like you get a chance to play. You get a chance to play. I was talking to Ben Lerner the other day. He was just on the podcast today. And he was like, you know, when you start in practice, you're really in the marketing business. And then you get a chance to do some chiropractic when people finally start showing up, you know? And then you get that switches where, okay, you put in that effort and now you get to play a lot more. And then you can get to do a little bit of marketing here and there, you know, to get people, because people have to, you got to let people know you exist. You got, or they won't ever come, you know? That's an important thing. You can attract them with our energy. We do spend a lot of time in that. But you know, the young tours getting out there, there's so much other noise out there, is that you got to go out and you got to go fish. You got to be a fisherman for men and women and babies and grandmas and grandpas. I did a talk today in an assisted living. Absolutely amazing, you know, and I don't take Medicare, you know, but I told them, hey, you know, the truth. You know, I'm here to help you, and, you know, we're going to do our thing. And then first thing in the morning, I did a class for the homeschoolers. That was a lot of fun. And then I went from there, had lunch, and then I did the old folks home, I call it, but you're not allowed to call it that anymore. It's assisted living, right? So, but you know, you got to share your message. I don't care if they come in, right? I've just expressed that to the world. I told God and the universe, this is what we're doing to help your people. We're going to attract that right back to us in who knows what ways, but it's all service. And it's, to give, to love, to serve, to do out of your own abundance without an expectation of return. So, you know, today was a great day of service. I'm electrified from it. Actually, I feel really good. And, you know, should we read this next section?
Yeah.
Sure.
Alan, what you feel like reading?
Sure. You want me to go to 611, right?
Correct. Page
Section is-
611, chiropractic.
Section
Chiropractic.
titled Chiropractic in the Chiropractor's Adjuster, 1910. In Volume 1, 1905, Chiropractor is the following with corrections in italics adjusting it to date. Chiropractic was discovered in 1895 by D.D. Palmer. He developed this science until he feels proud of it. Chiropractors find nearly all diseases are caused by subluxations of vertebra, which impinge upon nerves. When nerves are free to act naturally in their entire course, there is health. Chiropractors definitely locate displacements of osseous tissue, the cause of disordered conditions. When these luxated joints are replaced, the impinged nerves freed, there are no abnormal functions. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Well, Dee Dee's talking about Volume 1, 1905. That's BJ's book, right? So he's saying, if I put this in italics, I'm correcting BJ Palmer. Is that right? Just getting our timeline correct.
Well, there's no
And
italics.
right now, I don't see anything in italics.
No.
But, you know, chiropractors definitely locate displacements of osseous tissue, that the cause of disordered function. You know, I have to say, he does, I bring this up quite often. He doesn't say subluxation very often. When the luxated joints are replaced, the impinged nerves freed, there are no abnormal functions. I'm going to read the next one, okay?
Go ahead.
The medical world has long recognized luxations of the spinal column accompanied by fracture, but have always insisted that it was almost impossible to displace a vertebra. The MD's wrenches and sprains of the back are chiropractic luxations. These may be caused by a variety of accidents when asleep or awake. Many a mother and her child have been injured at delivery by displacements of one of the 117 joints of the spine. It is the chiropractor's business to repair subluxated articulations, thereby freeing the impinged nerves so that they may act normally. Now, he said subluxated articulations in bold. It's not an italic. So I don't know if that was a correction necessarily.
Yeah, I'm stumbling here over this being Didi when he says it's the business to repair subluxated articulations. The repair is the word that has me stumbling there.
Yeah.
Nod your head, Barry.
I think I'm going to read a little more. Maybe we'll find out.
Okay.
The functional principles of chiropractic are founded on anatomy, pathology, physiology, and nerve tracing. For years after writing the above, I advanced the principles of chiropractic. Now, this is all in bold. I advanced the principles of chiropractic. Life is action governed by intelligence. Intelligence, life, the soul, depends on the execution of functions. Functions performed with normal energy result in health. Disease is the result of the performance of functions above or below normal. Impulses properly transmitted through nerves result in functions normally performed, which is health. The motive force may be exaggerated or decreased during its transit because of the lines of communication being excited or repressed. The vegetative functions rely upon the amount of energy expressed by vital functions. The normal carrying capacity of nerves depends upon their freedom from pressure, the abnormal upon the force of impingement. Bones are the only hard tissue which can press against or impinge upon nerves. Therefore, we state chiropractic is founded upon osteology, neurology, and functions. Okay, now,
See, I think what happens here is that what I was asking about before is BJ, and this bold is that we just read is DD.
but he does say impingement where he talked about nerve tension mostly, right?
He talked about impinged and pressure and not, I think, but not, he said the bone doesn't press on the nerve, it changes the pressure, which impinges the transmission. Is that, Barry, am I on the track?
So here back on page 579, nerves are impinged upon or against by pressure. In no case are they compressed, concussed, squeezed, or pinched except by fracture. So it sounds like BJ was talking about a pinched nerve. I was just listening, I wasn't reading it, and he was correcting his son.
Yeah, that's the key. He talks about impingement, which is a pressure, but you don't press the nerve. It doesn't really touch the nerve. It's a space that's compressed, changes the tension, changes the stretch, and that causes the change in the speed of the vibration, which is, may or may not be accurate, but it's a good analogy, certainly, of the transmission of information along the nerve, and that causes an increase in heat, which he talks about all the time. And if you increase vibration, it makes things hotter. And he talks about that all the time. If you decrease it, it gets colder, and that's a different issue, but still not right. And that's the dysfunction. That's disease. Any dysfunction, he says, is disease.
Dis-ease. I
He
have a
doesn't say
question.
that. He says disease.
He does say disease in here. Now, when we had volume 1 and it was the only book, did he call it volume 1? Did the chicken or the egg come first? You know, when he just mentions volume 1, 1905, the chiropractor, or whatever he calls it. What's the book? 1905 is chiropractic philosophy, right? Alan's going to get it.
I'm gonna look.
But did he call it volume 1 before he wrote volume 2?
I think the first handful were Science, Art, and Philosophy of Chiropractic. The first handful of green books. It was Science, Art, and Philosophy.
Gotcha.
I'm not finding a one on my shelf right now.
Physicians, I have it. I'll take a picture of it at the office. That's where most of my green books are. And we'll take a look, and I'll post it on here. It's time for a shameless plug, okay? April 25th at the Delt House in Marietta, Georgia, Philosophy Night. April 26th, room C125, the big room at Life University, we're having a special event. And it's innate workshops, and I'm bringing my good friend, Dr. Brian Hooker, who wrote Vaxxed or Unvaxxed with RFK Jr. He is the lead researcher for the Children's Health Defense in RFK, and they are about to let loose right now. I just made the post today that they're going to be investigating a lot of interesting things very soon right now. And so the timing could not be more perfect. And you're going to see us. We're planning a tour. And, Boston might be the second one after Atlanta, maybe New York. We could keep going. I love being with my Michiganders, Detroit might be on the list. And so we can get around this country and really start changing the world. And the book, I say the book I wrote, I really wrote a paper for peer review, and I'm making into a book, is Birth Trauma and the Role of Chiropractic Care. That's the condensed title. It's got a big fancy title for peer review, but really it's cervical trauma and the role of chiropractic is what really it is from birth. And we need to include mommies in that, and pelvis and hips. The goal, now we're really talking about, really the goal is, I would love to see chiropractors in labor and delivery around the world. I'll start with Melbourne, Florida, Orlando, Florida itself, the East Coast, all the way through the, Midwest, and then California. I can see that happening. We have to educate better. We're doing a great job. We're the best educated profession in health there is, period. And we have the highest tuition too, to prove it. But we stand ready. And this is really our call to action. And that's what I'm going to be doing on this event, is really our call to action as chiropractors, being a part of the MAHA movement. And I'm claiming our space. We all need to. So that's April 25th and 26th. I'd love to see as many people as possible. They said if it's 200, but that means 600 to me. So you just got to move out before the fire marshal comes. So, this is a big day, and this is going to be something for chiropractic history and the history of the rest of our lives. This is it could not be more poignant in our times as that we're living in right now. So I know that was a long piece, but I think it's very important for us all to take note, because it's our future, and it's to save lives. Okay.
Well, on that note, I should probably go back to what I read you before we opened up about
let's read that one. What page is it on?
That's on 579. This is
Okay.
just a little nod to kid
great one.
adjusting from the way back. So this is on page 579, and it's a letter from a chiropractor to DD from South Bend, Indiana, March 19, 1909. I think I have all chiros beat on the youngest patient. Our daughter was adjusted when she was 1 day and 2 hours of age. That one adjustment corrected her diarrhea. Dr. M. Krug, DC. And Dee writes back, Miss Dr. MK, it is not considered good taste to place Dr. and DC both to your name. Either one is correct. BJ's child was adjusted by his grandfather when he was 4 days old. You get the persimmon. So child adjusting goes way back here, all the way back to the beginning, 1909. And that's just a nod to Haig and what he's carrying forward in that tradition.
Well, now you know why Innate Newborn was. I didn't announce it to everyone, but really it's to enhance our profession as well. We've got great professors teaching out there. Dee, if he didn't think it was important to adjust a child at 4 days old, which was David Palmer. Was his Daniel David Palmer? He's the same.
No, BJ adjusted.
He said his grandfather at 4 days.
Which that's odd that he said
BJ's child, yes, it would have been
David Palmer. He's saying, I'm sure BJ probably adjusted him as well, but he was adjusted by his grandfather on his 4th day, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And
that's the way I took that.
It'd be interesting to find out Dr. Kook here, because they put their initials at the beginning, if Dr. Kook was actually a female or a male, because the first chiropractors, there were females in the first chiropractic class. So I'm going to look that up. That'd be interesting. And I think it's poignant that the classroom you're in is C125 that you're speaking in at life.
Why is it interesting 125?
C1,
C2, and then we jump to L5 for cerebral spinal fluid and flow, right?
There we go. I like it. C125. The amazingness of chiropractic. I posted that video with Pasquale talking about, don't think of anything besides the amazingness of chiropractic when we deliver that adjustment. And I think that's what we really get across here, is that this is amazing. I mean, how amazing would it be to have Dee Palmer adjusting you? But I think he's adjusting everybody through us, and we're receiving from them. I fully feel there are days I've got Dee Palmer and Pasquale and BJ Palmer, Clarence Jensen with me, the whole crew, everybody. They're on our shoulders serving the people because the people deserve it. I always said this: if a spirit could come back from the other side, I know Pasquale would be the one to do it. So, we're not alone in this service. We've got a huge team, whether we're in the office with me, I have one CA, and I really like that. And, or a big team. Really, we have a big team from the other side serving through us. And, that's a God experience. That's inspiration. That brings in spirit into the room. We don't have to be praying and chanting the whole day for it. It's there no matter what. Absolutely. Anybody have anything else for tonight?
Looking.
This is where we're going to pick up next time. Okay. We're going to finish this part, and then we have some other. Oh, here's a $50,000 remedy of typhoid fever. 50,000 for a remedy. I got to read that one. Mexico City. I'm going to read that one out loud and then send it to our Mexican friends. Mexico City, February 19th. The Mexican Academy of Medicine was offered $50,000 to the scientist who discovered a means of preventing typhoid fever. Of this sum, $20,000 will go to the discoverer of a specific cure of the disease. I like the amount. A like amount will be paid to the person discovering a serum that will kill the germs in the blood, and 10,000 divided among those. With the winner of verse 2 prizes in their experiment. So he wrote to the Mexican Academy in English and offering to go there in the city. Ooh, I can't wait to read that. I received an answer. Their offers in Spanish print, appended by, on this subject, it is necessary to write in the Spanish language. That's really funny. We're going to dig into that story because I've never heard that story before. Anyway, it's been an awesome night. I love and appreciate you all. Arrivederci. Good night, everybody.
You know.